and it's with meditation, it's like some days are bliss and some days are like torture. Some days I'm standing there like fucking like just like it's horrible. It feels like I'm being tortured. And other days I'm just like feel like all this like energy flowing through my body. My whole body is like tingling. It feels like a full body like orgasm. It like feels so good. So it's like, but such is life, right?
Yeah.
Some days in life are going to be tough days. Some days are going to be beautiful days. So it's just like meditation is never, and you know, even to this day, even after completing like 1,000 days of doing meditation, like till this day, like
damn, 1,000 days.
You know, I mean, so basically what happened was I completed this first 100-day gong, and then I was like, fuck yeah, I'm a beast. Like completed 100 days in a row. Like, yeah, no one else has done this. And I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it. I stopped doing meditation. I was like, all right, I got my badge of honor, and I got the check mark. Did the gong. I stopped it.
Yeah.
And my life went back to shit. All these issues return with a vengeance.
Oh wow, really?
And then, yeah. So then this is a cool part of my story. So like these issues got like, and like something I want to open up more about too is, yes, like I said, I was dealing with the musculoskeletal issues, then the internal organ system issues. But the most painful issue that I've dealt with is the mental emotional stuff, is my mind.
Yeah.
Like that was the greatest motivating force. Yes, it was to accumulate life force to heal my organs, but also just to master control over my mind and emotions. Like I just started having really dark thoughts.
Oh.
Like I kind of had this like dark night of the soul. Like basically in the fall of 2019, I had this like dark night of the soul where basically it was probably like a little bit after I first like saw you at that exercise coach course. Like in I don't know, it's probably around then, but I basically within the span of 2 months in fall of 2019, first what happened was I basically, it's a long story, but I took a very high dose of LSD and
classic.
Yeah, but like the shit that this guy like I was working on a farm in this little farming town, and my roommate was like, "Hey, there are these two like people dressed up in like rainbow gear in town, and they're selling LSD. Like, you should go buy some from them." So I went and talked to these two like rainbow people, and like I was gonna be like, "Hey, can I just buy some acid from you? I've always wanted to try acid," but they started like talking to me. They're like, "Hey, come have a cup of tea with us and stuff," and they were like real fucking like shaman. Like these two were fucking like I could just feel their energy and their souls, and like the guy was telling me, he's like, yeah, I was an ex like Green Beret or Army Ranger or something. I had some intense trauma, and she fucking helped heal him with psychedelics. And they were just like, they were tapped into some other dimension, basically. They were like, I don't know, they were like very mystical, and they made me come and like have a cup of tea with them at the outside the local coffee shop in this little courtyard. And then he was like, you know, like, I don't want to sell you the LSD. I want to give it to you. Like,
oh wow,
like a shaman likes to see his patient take their medicine. So he's like, here, stick out your tongue. I'm gonna give it to you, okay? And but like I completely trusted this guy. Like I feel people's hearts, you know. I trusted these guys. They had good intentions. And he's like, he put it on my tongue. Before all this, he told me, he's like, yeah, it's not just LSD. He's like, I made this special blend. I put something called monatomic gold in it. I'm like, what's that? He's like, basically he was trying to tell me that he got this from like other dimensions, basically. He's like, this guy was literally like a magical fucking like being that like, he's the real deal. Fucking, he created this some powerful fucking medicine and like gave it to me. And you know, before this, I'd done multiple heroic doses of mushrooms, 5 grams of mushrooms, and like that's intense. But then this, he put the drops on my tongue, and right away, I kind of like remote viewed myself from like a third party perspective. And for a quick second, I could see myself sitting on the bench talking to them. And then I come back into my body. I'm like, whoa, that was weird. But it was like for a quick second. I felt totally normal still. I felt totally normal. And both of them were like, okay, go and like find a tree or something to meditate under. Go meditate under a tree. It'll probably start really kicking in like 45 minutes, an hour. So you just go find a spot to go have your journey. So I got in my truck, and I was feeling like pretty sober at the time, other than that quick like remote view experience. But I got in my truck, drove about 15 minutes down the road, found this like tree that just came to mind, and I started meditating under the tree.
Yeah.
And then basically, I freaking like I started sinking under the ground.
Oh my god.
Basically, my body started like permeating this dimension, and I started going under the ground. Like the ground was going up, and I started going just like falling down. And I started seeing the roots of the redwood tree. The roots were fucking like here, and I was going down. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, I can feel stuff. Like it's like not in my head. Like I'm straight up fucking like sinking under the earth. And like I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? And so I started I'm like, I felt scared. I was like, what the fuck? Did these guys fucking like poison me? Did they like what is this some kind of like black magic, or what the fuck did these guys do? So I like, got scared, and I was sinking and sinking. I was probably like 20 feet under the ground. I could see the layer of the ground level. So I started just climbing. I've always loved climbing trees, and I was just like, intuitively, I didn't even think about it, but I started just climbing these roots. And I got above the ground level, and I just like, was so into the climbing, I just kept on climbing. And then before I know it, I'm like 50 feet up this redwood tree.
Oh, fuck, dude. Oh my god.
And then in my head, I'm thinking like, no, like, Justin, this is all in your head. Like, you took a drug. Right now, your physical body is sitting, meditating under the tree right now. You're in your like spirit body, or this is like, I don't really know. You know, I was like, this is in your head. This is all a dream. You're safe. Your actual body's meditating. So then I just lost all fear. So I was 50 feet up this redwood tree.
Oh fuck.
Going out on the branches like a balance beam and shit. And then I kept on climbing. And I got to the point where I was probably like, I don't know, 150 feet up a huge redwood tree. And it was like the most magnificent view I've ever seen in my life. I felt like a freaking like wild, like Bigfoot. Like I literally climbed a redwood tree. I'm like, up on top of this thing, like, fuck, this is so cool. Fuck, this is awesome. And then I was like just like had no fear at all. Just like, it was amazing.
Wow.
And then I was like, I looked down, and I was like, how the fuck am I going to, like, I didn't even remember climbing up there. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to get down? And as soon as I had that thought, as soon as that fear crept in, I like slipped. I slipped, and I started like falling from this tree. And I was like free falling for a few seconds. I was like, whoa. And I started just like breaking branches where I was like, do. And I broke through like, I don't know, at least 10 branches or something, maybe more, but I just like was free falling first and then hit all these branches, and then slammed on the fucking ground.
Oh my god.
And dude, I popped up right away just to make sure I was like not paralyzed or anything. I was like, what the fuck? That was all real. I was actually in that tree. Like, I wasn't too fucked up, but my knee was totally like fucking like, okay, my knee joint kind of blew out.
Hold on. But, so you were actually, you climbed up the tree for real in real life?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Like, so you were actually, so that wasn't part of the delusion or like the LSD. You're up on that tree. You actually fell from the tree.
It's really hard to explain, but it's like almost like I was in this physical realm, but I was in like my like astral body, but I could still like feel things, and like my physical body also was there, but also I could like permeate matter. It was like, it makes no sense. Like, honestly, like I've done like mushrooms and shit, and like usually see stuff and stuff, like I literally permeated, and then my physical body climbed up, then I hit the ground, and I was actually physically damaged. My knee got hurt, and it's like it was the most mind-blowing thing ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, as soon as I popped up, I was so thankful I wasn't dead, or like my spirit guides were fucking looking out for me. And that's when I really like found out that like there are greater powers out there like, looking out for you, because I should have been dead. And like I went back to that spot like a few weeks later and was looking at everything. I was like, how did I hit all the right branches to save me? And on the ground there were like little like mini like dead trees sticking up. I could have gotten like skewered on a fucking tree or something when I hit the ground. But it just kind of showed me that to like, you know, we're divinely protected, one. But then two, like when I brought up that whole experience, I know I kind of went on a side tangent.
It's all good.
I think it's a pretty like cool story. Like fuck, like, but Well, I went on that whole side tangent. Now to get back to the main thing for the lessons, that experience, as like you can imagine, that was intense as fuck. It was like literally like shattered my perception of reality, and while like doing so, it like basically like shattered my psyche too, because like everything's like connected, our body, our mind, our external environment. Just like I was like all started like it's like everything's opened up basically. I don't know if it shattered it, but totally opened up my energy field, opened up my psyche. And I think that's when like darkness started really being able to permeate into my being. And just like that's when I started dealing with a lot of extremely dark negative thoughts.